welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I feel like it's been a little bit since we've kind of talked and stuff, so here I am. If you don't know by now already, by the title, I am going to be doing my TBR. I'm going to be doing the entire TBR for June, July, August. Also, so this will be known as my summer TBR. And I'm so glad to be sharing this with you guys. I just realized that I hit 50 followers, and that just feels good. I know it might be like a small amount, or seem like a small amount, like, oh, 50, but I feel like that's still really good, because it just means that you guys are enjoying my videos, and you know, this is like a little cozy hobby for me, which I will be talking about in like another video. But yeah, this has become like a little cozy hobby, so I kind of, you know, it kind of sucks when I'm like not in the mood or like just other stuff gets in my head and I don't record. So it's nice to like see that especially as I'm like recording this, because I'm like, wow, I haven't recorded in what feels like such a long time. But yes, thank you for subscribing, thank you for being here, and welcome if you're new. So let's get into my summer TBR. This is a long one. I wouldn't say it's kind of ambitious, because 3 months I have like 16 or 17. There's also room to just DNF if I need to DNF. I can pick up other books. There's some series on here too, so if I'm really getting into that series, I can just finish the series, and then I just wouldn't get to some books in here. So it's not set in stone, but I guess if I'm not liking the series, then I'll just wait and continue to go into what I have here. Not set in stone, but this is kind of what I'm going to be sticking to, because I tend to like having like a set stack of books to reach to first, and then if just none of them sound good, then I can just go swap it. So you know, that probably will happen because I am such a mood reader. I am kind of anticipating that I will be in the mood for romance and like mysteries this summer, because that's kind of what I'm in the vibe for right now. I think in the summer, well, this summer at least, because I feel like last summer I was really into a fantasy mood. I was really kind of getting introduced into fantasy, so I think that kind of drove what I was reading then. So actually I was gonna start here, but I think I'm gonna start because I have been dying to do a reread, and the only reread I've done this year so far is of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That one is a book I like to reread a lot. I probably will continue to reread it. I see myself rereading it again, maybe in like September or October. I don't know what it is. I just love the vibes of that book. It like feels just like old Hollywood historic fiction, which I normally don't gravitate towards, but I feel like lately I kind of have been. So they don't really have a lot of fantasy on this list. So the first fantasy that I do have on this list is a reread, so it's nothing new, and that's Fourth Wing. I have been dying to reread ACOTAR actually, but I'm in the middle of the Throne of Glass series, so I kind of want to just finish Throne of Glass and then read the Crescent City books and then do a reread of ACOTAR. As of right now, having read ACOTAR and one of Crescent City and a couple books in the Throne of Glass series, ACOTAR, I'm probably an ACOTAR girl more than anything else, and I feel like that's because I'm more like a romanticy. Like I do like plain fantasy, but I feel like I'm definitely a romanticy girl. Like if you can give me romance and a fantasy, that's like the best of both worlds. I will eat that up. And I think that's very true, because I've heard people say if you're more of an ACOTAR than in the other ones, you are a romanticy girl. And I think that's very true. So I really just want to reread that because I want a romantasy. I mean, I guess I could try to find a new romance, but I just want a romantasy. So we're rereading Fourth Wing instead because I haven't done a reread of this. I also haven't done a reread of Akatar either, but I haven't done a reread of this one, and it makes more sense to do this and then go do my Iron Flame so I have enough time for Onyx Storm in January. So it makes sense to start my reread, especially because these are chunky ones, and usually with rereads, I mean, with all books you take as much time as you need to, but I know I've read it before, so if I'm reading multiple books while I'm reading a reread, it's cool because I'm not gonna get lost because I've read the book, you know what I mean? I know how I said you do it. Anyway, this is Fourth Wings. If you don't know right now, this is a fantasy. There's some romance, so I guess it's kind of a romancy too. This follows Violet Sorrengail, and she has trained her whole life. I don't know why I can't think of the name of it right now. But they're basically like historians. So she's kind of trained her whole life to be like this with her dad because her dad was one. So so she trains to be like a historian her whole life, and her brother gets killed. Her dad passed away, and so now it's kind of just like her mom, her and her sister, and her sister is a dragon rider, and her mom is like a captain with the dragon riders, and so her mom kind of pushes her to now change over to be a dragon rider instead. The way that this world is set up, there's dragons, and the way that they communicate with the dragons, like, you just have to read it. I don't want to give out too much in this book because this is a good book, and I'm so glad I went into this blind because people were saying you would like Fourth Wing if they were comparing it to something, but I hate when people, because most of the time they're wrong. This is really good, and it's nothing like Divine Rivals. They were comparing this to Divine Rivals. This is nothing like Divine Rivals. I gave Divine Rivals 5 stars too. That's what it was. But this came out first. This is still really good. That it says a lot that I'm wanting to reread this again. And the second one, this one's definitely better than the second one. The second one was good. The second one was good. It was good. This one's so much better. So much better. So at least read the first one. A lot of people were disappointed with the second one, and I can totally see why. But I am willing to read the third one to see how that goes. But for now, we're gonna reread the OG. This one, 6 stars, no notes. Next, we have Killer Instincts. So if you watch, I'll tag it up above. But this is a YA Criminal Minds, like, mystery thriller, which it took me forever to actually get this off my TBR. I bought it immediately. I'm easily influenced, and the reason why I bought it is because I was told this is YA Criminal Minds, and it is. It is. I can say that it really is. So I've been really wanting to just get back in here. So again, this has 2 more books to it. So depending on how I feel, will depend on how the rest of the TBR goes, because I might just read it back to back, or I might be in the mood to like take a break from the series and go on to other stuff. Sometimes I do that when I'm in the series. Sometimes I break it up. Sometimes I just, you know. So I do have, I think, 2 series on here that, not 2 series. I have, I think, 3 series, but they're standalones, so that's fine. No, 4 series, and 1 is a standalone, and or it could be read as a standalone, but I'll talk about it when I get there. But this is, yeah, YA Criminal Minds. Like, literally, that's all you need to know. And I've said that on my channel before I even read it. And I am saying, when people tell you this is like YA Criminal Minds, it's YA Criminal Minds. They are 4 kids, 4 or 5 kids. I think it's 4. and they are recruited by the FBI to kind of solve cold cases. Next, we have People We Met on Vacation. I read Happy Place by Emily Henry last year, and depending on my mood, it's a 4 or a 5, because sometimes talking about the book can get me angry. Other times I'm just like, wow, yeah, it was a 5 stars because it was beautifully written. So I want to see her writing, and if she is a writer that I'll like maybe become like an auto buy off, like someone I buy all their books of. So I have actually 3 books of hers that are on the CBR. So we committed when I said we're gonna go all in and see if she is really worth the hype, and I'm just gonna buy everything she writes, because there's still another one that I don't have, but if I like all of these, I will go buy that one. Maybe that will also be on my wrap-up of my summer reads. Who knows? No one knows. We turn the back. This book is gonna follow, oh well, I'll just read this top part here. It says 2 best friends, 10 summer trips, 1 last chance to fall in love. So why is it called People We Met on Vacation if they know each other? This is like a second chance. This is people we meet on vacation, but they know each other. And after reading the back, I don't know, maybe that's what I don't know and what I will find out when I read this book. Next, Razorblade Tears. You see what I mean? It's either romance or mystery kind of at this point. This is by S.A. Cosby. I just picked this book up knowing nothing about it. I just heard he was a really good author and his thrillers are really good, so I'm eager to see. I do know from what I've been told, because I did not read the back of this at all, is that it involves, there are 2 men who are married and they pass away, and now their dads are dealing with the death, but I guess it's like a mysterious. They're killed, and the fathers, who don't totally like each other, are trying to figure out what happens with the sons because they were both killed. And this sounds really interesting. I wonder if I should do like predictions of what I predict with it too. But I always predict a 5-star regardless, because I just want every book to be a 5-star. And I mean, it's always subjective. Like a 5-star to me is not gonna be a 5-star to you. So I feel like I just like to say I really, really like something and tell you how it made me feel. Chain Gang All Stars. This is another it's a dystopian, so it's kind of fantasy. They're like prisoners who travel in like links, and they have to fight for their freedom. They're like warriors basically fighting for their freedom, and these 2 women, they're a couple, and one I think is already free because she won, like she beat, I think you have to like everybody or something like that. Could be mistaken. I could just read the back of this. They compete to the death for arenas, and one will be free in a couple weeks. But she kind of messes everything up because she defines the whole thing. So like I kind of just wanted something like action-y packed. So this is dystopian, and I really like dystopians, so I'm trying to find more that like vibe with me. So this one has just been eyeing me, and I was like, I need to bump this up here. Yeah, like I gotta bump the order of this. Like this is I have to read it. I have to read it. Like besides my reread, if I don't come back here and say I read this book, I don't talk. We have The Housemaid's Secret. This is a series now because there's going to be a third housemaid, and I'm kind of confused because the way the first one let off, I was like, there doesn't really need to be a second one, right? Like, right? But I am in a group, a book club group now, which I help a little bit with. And I can see, with our last read, I can see the possibility of everybody maybe wanting to read that book together and then going into this because it is a series now. So I can see this kind of coming up soon, maybe for the book club. If not, this is one that I can probably wait a little bit because I've waited so long anyway. Because I was kind of thinking about reading it like in October because I already read the first one in October. So I think it would be fun to read like the second one a year later and see if like the story still hits. So this is one that like I'm not too like, if I don't read it, I don't read it. This is a mystery thriller. Main character is a housemaid, basically. She has a little bit of a past that you find out about in book 1, so I'm not gonna say all of that here, but she has a little bit of past. She's been a little bit troubled, and then one day she gets hired by this couple, and she didn't think she was gonna get that because of her past, and like she really needed a job because she had like no place to go, like at all. And so they hire her, and she thinks everything's going good. She thinks a lot of things. In reality, gets a little twisty and crazy. And I really did enjoy The Housemaid, so I might as well just continue to the second one and hope that it is just as good. This is the one that I was like, this is a part of a interconnected series, so it can be read as a standalone. So if you see this one and you don't care, you can also read this one, and you can go back and read the other one. But this is by Miss Kennedy Ryan. This is called This Could Be Us. So this book follows Soledad, and there's a single dad trope in here. I've never read a single dad one. The first book in the series was pretty good. The thing that blew me was all of the miscommunication, but I think it was really necessary. Still aggravating, but it was really necessary in that book. And just the way Kennedy Ryan writes, like, this isn't just a romance. Like, it's a romance, but there's gonna be like some type of lesson here. Like, you're gonna, like, it does more than just give you romance. So this will be a single dad. I'll follow the character Soledad, who's mentioned in the first book. So if you have read the first book and you did like her character, I feel like you probably would pick it up. But if you didn't like her character, you probably just wouldn't care to continue because you really don't have to. But I do want to read this. This is not one that's really high up on the list neither, because I do have some Kindle books too. And one of my Kindle books on there is her basketball romance. So we'll see. I might read both. Depending on how this makes me feel, I might read them back to back. Because I definitely think I am coming back into my romance, because I feel like I haven't read a lot of romances. And then in February, I started reading more romances. And I've just been on a kick. Another romance. This is After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this follows a couple who I believe is going through a divorce, and they're kind of taking a look at what went wrong in their marriage. I honestly probably will get this on Audible. Like, I'll like look on Libby and see if I can get the audio of it. Something about her books, I just really like listening to them, like Daisy Jones and the Six and The Seven Husbands of Evelyn and Hugo. I listen to that on audio as well, so I think I just really like her books on audio. Like, I guess it's whoever the narrator is. I don't know, because Carrie Soto was really good on audio. Like, her books are just, I feel like they're just meant to be audio, because they just I don't know, I always pay attention and I always like them. So I'm hoping I will. This is I know it's gonna be a little bit different because this is a romance. The other books are like more like historical fiction, and like Daisy Jones and the Six felt like a real band. So like those are kind of the vibes of her books. And this one is about a couple who I believe is going through divorce. So it's a different vibe. So we'll see, because this is something very different than I usually read from her. It's an Emily Henry book. This is called Book Lovers, and I don't know if it was this one that I really wanted to get or if it was Beach Read. I think it is the one that people recommend the most because they say that that's kind of like their favorite one, especially in the summer. But I didn't see Beach Read, so I picked up Book Lovers. I'm assuming it's a romance, and I'm guessing that these two people are book lovers. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know, because I really came in with the intentions of getting beach reads and I walked out with Book Lovers. Said Emily Henry, I picked it up. On the back it says it's going to be about Nora and it's going to be about Charlie, and apparently they are rivals. Oh, so a rival romance. I feel like rival romances are like really weird in like real life. Like, it's so much easier to do with like a romance. I feel like that's why I am a romance girly, because enemies to lovers is done always right in a fantasy. So interesting to see how it turns out in a romance book, no fantasy. Okay, next up we have another little mystery thriller. This is called Everyone in My Family Has.
Oh, sorry.
Come on.
Subscribe, y'all.
This one here that I want to read is called Everyone in My Family Has Someone. This book, everybody in the family, that's what they do. I guess this is a family business of, I'm guessing, because the mom, the sister, dad, grandparents, like everybody in this family does it. So I'm assuming it's like a little I feel like it's everyone who did it. I think it's supposed to be like a funny little like mystery thriller, cozy vibe, like maybe an element of a whodunit. But the title alone really caught me, because I was like, that's really interesting. Like, we know that everyone has done it, so like what, like, I think he has another book on here called Everyone on This Train is a Suspect, and so it's kind of giving like the same, but like something happened on this train and now we know it's everyone in here could be part of it. I guess that's kind of the vibes here, like everyone, but like, you know, everyone's done something, so how, like, you know, vibes. We're working with vibes. Next we have Twisted Love. I feel like I always put this on my well, not always, I have it on my Kindle as well, but I'm currently reading Kings of Sin, a part of her Sin series, and I just feel like it's finally time to pick up another book by her. So why not pick up Twisted Love? Like, it just seems like the perfect time. This is a romance. This is another billionaire romance, the same as her Kings of Sin series. That's also a billionaire romance. And this one, it focuses on Alex and it focuses on Ava. And she has a broken past, and this is going to be brother's best friend. See, I don't know. Like, when I explain it, I'm like, do you guys want me to read off the back, or you just want to go on vibes like me? Because sometimes I don't like to know if it's like a best friend brother. Like, I kind of just want to read it And then if there's a trope in there, then I'm like, okay, cool. But then sometimes it's good to know the trope, because if I know I don't like a trope, I can just be like, yeah, that's not for me. I'm like 50-50, so you have to let me know too if how you are as well. Like, do you like to know the trope? Do you not like to know the trope? Like, you know, I'm 50-50. It really depends. Like, best friend brother is not like a trope that's gonna like, I feel, give too much away. Like, you know, we know it's a romance, we know it's best friend brother. I mean, obviously they're gonna like, it's dual point of view. So usually with dual point of view, at least from my experience, those people end up together at the end, and that's the whole point. So I don't think it's giving anything away when I, you know, tell you the characters' names and that they're gonna be together. It's a romance. So I feel like those are the kind of things that you just, or at least I like to know. And I go off vibes and vibes alone. So twisted a little graphic or magna, if you will. This is a romance. This is called Villains Are Destined to Die, and this has to do with like gaming, and there's like a little romance in here. Easy to play as like the heroine and like stay alive in this game, but it's super hard to play as a villain. Like, you're kind of destined to die, and there is a little romance going on here within this whole thing, because like according to the back, it says you know, love interest can like kill you if the like affection meter like drops too low. So I thought this was really cool that there's like the gaming element of it, and plus like I just really been wanting to get like back into like magna graphic novels. Like, they're just so like, you know, easy to put in your bag. Like, they're not heavy. They're also usually quick reads, because like some pages like don't have much on it, so you're literally like, you literally could probably eat this up in like one afternoon, because it's not like a whole lot. And so I might become obsessed with this and just continue getting the whole series, but I did pace myself and just do one, because we're gonna see how I'm feeling. But I do want to try to get more months. So we have some thick ones here too. Only 2 thick ones. Talking about how tiny that one was. We're gonna talk about 2 thick ones. We have Air of Fire, because as I mentioned way earlier, I am still in the middle, not even in the middle, I still have more books after this. So again, right now I've been reading a book kind of every month at this point, and it's one of those, this series I think is more higher up on to finish, simply because I really want to do my read of ACOTAR, and I really want to get into Crescent City, because I did like the first Crescent City book. So I was just gonna not read this one at all and go read the second one, especially because the third one just came out, and this is like 8 books. But I've been told it hits harder if you know this book. I think going into the third one, if you've read like this and the other series, ACOTAR. So I was like, let me just stop and read and see if I like it. So far, it's okay. I like it. It's not like my favorite ever, to be completely honest. I do hear a lot of people say Queen of Shadows is their favorite, and I just think, you know, this is gonna get better as it goes on, obviously, because this is so many books. There's much world building. There's things that don't even know, like apparently there was magic before, and you know, now I guess there's not. Like, there's so much build up, so I feel like I was singing a little bit of a different tune once I've gotten further on in it. As of right now, this is not like a must read, but at the same time it kind of is, because I don't want to like go too long and read other books and other series and kind of forget, and then have to start all over and read. So it's definitely needs to be read sooner rather than later. And this is a fantasy, in case I didn't say that, and this is a continuation of a series, so I'm like spoil anything for you guys. These books follow our main character, Selena, and there's a whole different order, like go find someone else on TikTok for that, because I am still new to this, not true to this. So they can kind of give you the orders, recommendations, like all of that on her whole mass universe. I can't. I'm like slowly figuring it out because I am in the middle of reading this. So the Nightingale, I have seen this all over my For You page of literally everything, even TikTok, which I have barely been opening lately, honestly. Yeah, I've even seen it there. I have seen this everywhere. It's like smacking me in the face. This is a historical fiction, and it follows two sisters back during the World War. And I did hear there is, I think, some romance in here. I think people were saying it would be better if like it wasn't just following the two sisters. Kind of thick, so it kind of scares me because I'm just like, I feel like this is just gonna be traumatic because it also deals with like the war, and so I'm guessing the sisters are like separated, and I just feel like it's just gonna be traumatic reading this because I do feel like there's also gonna be an element of like a romance, and not only the romance but then the two sisters, and it's just gonna be like a lot of sadness maybe in this. I don't know why I would want to read this in the summer. I do have like some other books as well that I feel like are more summery, but I don't know if I will get to them. I'll list it here as an honorable mention at this point. So Part of Your World is an interconnected standalone, and so it's Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and Just for the Summer, and you can read them separately or you can read it interconnected. And so far in my experience, I personally prefer to read from first to next. So I picked up Just for the Summer not knowing it was related to the other two, and I was going to read it in May, and then I found out it was related to the other two. I'm like, I already have Part of Your World on my Kindle, and I picked up Yours Truly, so I think it will really just depend if I can knock out Part of Your World, if I will go into those other two. If not, I might just read Part of Your World and Yours Truly this year and wait till like closer to next summer to read Just for the Summer, simply because I have not read the other two, and I wanted to put in an anticipated read, and I wanted to read it in 2024, but I don't know. Depending on if I really like Part of Your World, I might skip over everything and just read it because I really want to read it. But I'm just I'm just someone, I can't let myself read it without knowing, especially because these characters I know are going to be mentioned. And then if I go back, I feel like it's kind of a little bit of a spoiler because they'll probably mention how they're happy and they have a family now. And I'm like, okay, well, pause everything. Now I gotta read. So I might as well start before I like feel like I need to pause and read about how cute they were and how they got to that situation. So that was a rant, but that is why I hate interconnected standalones, but I love them at the same time. So Just for the Summer might not be for me this summer, which is a little disappointing because I really wanted to read it and I had mentioned it. Cannot with interconnected standalones, especially knowing like if I never found out, I would have been totally fine to just read it and then not read the other two. Song for Ricky Lake. This is by Tia Williams. She wrote 70 Days in June, which I read. I didn't totally love it, but this one just sounds really good. This follows a artist. It's romance, but it's also like historical kind of in a way, because this is like I believe they said 1920 Harlem, and Ricky is an artist and she comes from a wealthy family and she leaves them all behind to just find her own way. And then one day, like renting this apartment in Harlem, she meets this guy and then a romance forms from there. So it just sounded really good. The cover sold me. I really wanted a paperback, of course, but I just had to pick this up. This sounded like this is going to be amazing. And I'm clearly in a romance. You have Funny Story. This was on my May to be read. I don't even want to talk about my May. It was stressful for me. But Funny Story by Emily Henry. So this is my third book on this list that by her. Two people who kind of feel like they're cursed. So basically, this girl, Daphne, she had a fiance and then he ended up getting back with his ex and they got married. And so she feels like she's kind of cursed because it seems like everybody, like the boyfriend before that, I guess they broke up and then he found the love of his life. So she feels like she's cursed, and she met this guy on Reddit and they both think that they're cursed, and so they decide to kind of like fake date to get rid of the curse, essentially. So like they're gonna date for however long and then break up, I guess, and see if the curse is broken. So we'll see. This one must be read as well. So don't judge me if you see that I didn't do what I said I was gonna do. No judgment. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear anything. Just I did it. Like, just clap for me. Round of applause. I read something. I don't want to hear anything about my changes, because if my mood changes, this TBR will change. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you again for 50 followers.